Hi there, my name is Ileana, aka the Fab You, aka the Fabulous You. You might know me personally, maybe you are a close friend of mine watching this, knew me from school growing up, or are a follower friend. As I like to say, we're all friends here if you vibe with my energy. Or I might have just popped up in your algorithm and maybe what I'm going to share was meant to find you for a reason. I have mentioned before how here on the Fab You, new content is under works and is changing and are rebranding my businesses. But today as me, Ileana, I need to get something off my chest. Hence, especially now referencing to my newest post about affirmations, astrology, and spiritual subjects. So if you feel called to stay and hear me out, thank you for staying. The Fab You is a safe and positive space, always. And thank you for being here and holding a space for me as well. I decided on writing this down and reading it instead of a freestyle, candid type of video, as I usually like to do, because it would be too hard for me to say what I'm going to say out loud without breaking down on camera. As I know reading this might also be quite difficult too. But might be quite difficult too, so bear with me. But before I keep going, I'd like to take a moment to pause and say, insert here, trigger warning. What I'm about to share might trigger past similar traumas or feelings. Me sharing my personal business is a struggle for me to be vulnerable as a fellow Scorpio. But God, my angels, and the universe gave me the courage to speak up on my story, as others might be able to heal through my awakening. Also, me sharing is no way for attention nor need sorries about my traumas, and everyone is entitled to share when they feel safe to do so or not share at all. Everyone is entitled to their opinions. What we need to do is keep spreading positive awareness on all the darkness going on in our current world state and not be afraid to use our voice, as our voice is one of a kind, just like you. TFS pun, to break in the seriousness. The outcome of opening up about me and the backstory of my platform, the Fab You, is to support and enlighten those this video finds them too, and to find them too. I strongly believe anyone can heal with love and compassion. I am also sharing for y'all to better understand my art forms, my music coming out soon, the rebranding of the Fab You, and as I was saying, more on the works. Through my healing journey, I have realized that my very narcissistic parents have both taken massive advantage of my trust, compassion, and forgiveness, not knowing that reconnecting with my father after my parents' divorce back in 2018 would have a permanent cost. I got scared. Although these past few years have felt like the darkest ever, I want to say that light will always outshine the dark, and that will always fuel my faith as it has only grown stronger. Let me say it again. I want to say that light will always outshine the dark, and that will always fuel my faith as it has only grown stronger. God and my angels have always been there with me and shined their mighty loving light from the heavens to protect me as best as they could. And know my mission here is to simply spread peace and love. My parents have tried their best to sabotage my well-being so this truth will never come to light, because they know everyone who knows them and hears of this will be stunned. Anyone can seem so nice on the outside. My mother being a good cook, my father being so charismatic, yet what happens behind the scenes was totally different. They both had different personalities at home. I know me sharing my story is probably going to be the talk of the town, but enough was enough. The truth needed to be said, and maybe family and friends needed to also hear this, as these generational cycles have been passed down. The abuse ends and ended with me permanently. Again, I would like to say trigger warning. What I'm about to share is indeed a triggering matter. I have to say, guys, because here I am, me myself, and I've been trying to make this video since the 1st of August, but it has been really difficult to do it, you know. But I know I needed to put it out there because a lot is changing, and I don't go out as much, you know. People are, when, you know, like, and I just don't want to have to explain it to everybody. It's as hard as it is already for me to open up. So let's keep on going. We're almost done. Again, I would like to say trigger warning. What I'm about to share is indeed a triggering matter. I am releasing this heavy burning to lift my soul and spirit and give myself peace of mind. I, from a very, very young age, as little as baby Ileana, was sexually abused by my parents. The lack of love was not just at night, but it also happened during the day, with being either neglected, drugged to stay quiet, not remembering or feel anything, being locked in my room alone to deal with emotions, and much more, friends. What is worse is that the abuse was not just happening to me. It was also happening to all my beloved pets I have had all my life. Now I understand the lies portrayed by my parents to cover up my missing animals or sudden deaths. All of this happened because of the avoidance of my mother and everybody else involved who knew about my father's sickness. My mother has always known about my father's sickness. She unfortunately denied ever knowing about it when I opened up to her about certain memories and its stuff back in 2022, when I was starting my healing journey, thinking my mother was on my side and giving her a chance to apologize once and for all, but no. And at this point, I had already known for a while that I had been like sexually molested, you know, and that stuff by my dad. What I hadn't known that my mother was also involved in her way. I don't, it's so dark, guys, that it's so like mind-boggling, but that a lot of certain things for me just made so much sense once I put it all together. And that's what I'm more like, you know, from both parents, right? I know. My mother has always known about my father's sickness. She unfortunately ever denied knowing about it when I opened up to her back in 2022, right? Okay, we already read that. Sorry, guys. Because during this time, for a while, I had been starting to write a book on like an autobiographical book on like certain things. You know, I hadn't gotten my healing. I hadn't remembered that so much more had happened, let alone it wasn't just my dad, it was also my freaking mom. The neglect on her avoidance of my father's sickness throughout all of my 28 years of living has not only affected me, but also affected the most precious treasures in my life, my pets. I could have saved my doggies' lives and keep my present pets safe from the abuse. Not only was this going on after dark, but during the day my father would constantly be passive-aggressive towards me, especially be sexually suggestive towards me, meanwhile also trying to cope with his heavy anger and bipolar issues. They both knew I was a caretaker at heart, and they both chose to continue their web of lies day and night. Because, you know, hurt me, whatever, don't hurt my animals. That's where I'm having, you know, I'm trying not to get so upset about it, but okay. The abuse continued during my teen years and unfortunately in my recent adult years. I wouldn't have been able to put clues together if it wasn't for an incident that happened to me back when I was 16 years old. My first boyfriend, TMI and trigger warning, the person I lost my virginity to, also dragged me and took advantage of me from behind, if you know what I mean. And I'm not trying to be funny, guys. This is real deal, guys. I know. As harsh as that memory is, it had to happen to trigger me and help me gain / recollect my own memories to figure out certain childhood memories I have had. Because what I had learned through therapy is that some things like, you know, trigger it back, or remember, because your brain blocks it away. So, because your body doesn't feel good, so your brain is like, if I block this memory away, you're not gonna hurt anymore. Yep, a lot of stuff, guys. As dark as this is, I had already known and forgiven my parents for my childhood abuse, like I said. But it sickens me to say that the abuse did not stop when I was a child. The abuse never stopped at all, ever. Through therapy and recollecting memories, because heavy traumas impact your brain especially, certain events will trigger to either remember scenes or recollect details. I was able to understand what was going on present day at home. Sadly, all of the abuse was happening under my nose. My father repeating the same cycle over and over again. During my childhood, back in my hometown of Tecate, in the house we moved to the United States, which was 4th grade through high school. And like I mentioned prior, the abuse still taking place present day now, or maybe since 2010, because that's where I moved here, where I'm at right now, and that's where we moved in with my dad. I won't ever really know, right? I don't know, guys. Fucking know. I do take accountability and beat myself up for not seeing the red flags soon enough, because I was numbing myself with heavy smoking and the mix of alcohol back in the start of my healing journey in 2019. I cannot dwell on what if, since it only leads to agony, but what is important now is that myself and my pets are finally safe. My whole life I have been poisoned with toxic hate, but not just physically, psychologically, mentally, and spiritually. My traumas have affected my mental state extremely, but also have affected me physically in ways my parents have forever scarred onto my soul. I now understand why it is difficult for me to get it on, feel sensations, feel or get comfortable, or feel safe. But it doesn't stop there. Because I have also dealt with extreme narcissistic abuse these past 5+ years, and also ending a 6-year relationship with a narcissist himself. I dealt with constant yelling, passive aggressiveness from my father mainly. Shutting off and avoiding to not engage was best to do to keep my pets and myself safe. This has caused a major impact on my speech. This has shocked my social and verbal cues. Even me, as some would say, a social butterfly, struggle presently with freeze mode while around people or in a crowd setting, aka having trouble speaking up or literally stay frozen if felt triggered. I don't like people near me or strangers, people in general, touching me or get too close to my personal space. But I never fully understood why until recently in my healing journey. I am either having too much sensory issues or simply are numb. I have learned now through therapy and free knowledge gained from professionals on the fabulous internet, thank you Jesus, that this is called trauma-related disassociation. And I'm going to quote the definition right here. Disassociation can occur in response to traumatic events and in response to prolonged exposure to trauma. For example, trauma that occurs in the context of people's relationships. Disassociation can affect memory, sense of identity, the way the world is perceived, and the connection to the physical body. I do want to say I had to detach my energy from both my mother and father permanently. My physical and mental health were at stake. They took advantage of me and stabbed me where they knew it hurt the most, my precious animals. As sick as they are, I forgive them and send them healing energy because they need it. And these pains had to happen for me to bring light to the darkness happening in our world. I am not the only one with these traumas, but no sharing will only bring more awareness to save all the animals and children in our world. Therapy has taught me to put healthy boundaries to be able to protect my well-being and the well-being of those around me. While on my inner soul healing journey, I've learned to not dwell and not stay in a pessimistic mindset because it will only keep leading to heartache and an unbalanced mindset. My faith has kept me alive because besides my personal life traumas, gosh, there has been so much in between. Like my parents always fighting at home or in public, a bad divorce leading to my parents declaring bankruptcy, and losing our home after graduating high school. A lot more has happened in my life, good and bad, friends. But from now on, and little by little, I'll be sharing my stories and show them to be a positive example. To say that yes, it is possible, we can all heal. Yes, we can all move on. Yes, we can all love again, step by step, but it is possible, friends. Nobody said it was easy, but it is. In my personal experience, my mental health has improved immensely. I will include a hotline number with help information and tag the professionals I found on social media for my own personal research that I have gained the knowledge needed to heal and comprehend what was going on with me internally and also physically, since we all know therapy is expensive. That is also another main reason why it is all coming full circle with me, opening up with my current struggles, so that the Fab You progresses into the fabulous platform it is meant to be, to help heal others. As I have always been a natural nurturer. On top of achieving little Ileana's dream of being a pop star, wink wink. God sent me back to earth and knew I could endure all of this pain and to still stand tall till this day. Mainly to share and let others know that we are able to alchemize our pains, anxieties, struggles, hurt, etc. into something beautiful and not fall into negative addictions or keep repeating the same patterns / generational cycles. We have the power to change and be the light that God knows we all have inside. I mainly wanted to open up so that there is a bigger understanding on the context of my art, aka all of my businesses, like I will tag them all below. I wish for everyone to heal, prosper in life, find their true love, and live their best, most fabulous life, as that is what the human experience should be. We all deserve abundance with not having to spare our own happiness. Very soon, my spiritual / astrology life coach and business consultations will be available to the public. The main reason is to help others who are seeking help in their career life or to help find their passion. As we all know, our current world mindset is wild, and all I want to do is share love in every way possible with my art, my music, and everything I stand for. The Fab You and every platform that is under my wing is here to advocate against animal cruelty and to protect the innocence of this world, the children. If you have made it this far, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and sharing a safe space with me. Little by little, I will share more of my stories and how I kept on going, especially on my new podcast, shameless plug, coming soon, the Divine Femme Podcast. Plus, inviting special guests to also inspire us in how they came out of the tunnel looking and feeling more fabulous than ever. Follow and stay tuned. Lots on the works. I am here for you, and you. Sending you all love, light, and peace of mind today and always. Choose love over hate, promote peace and love, and always, always have faith. Ileana.